Welcome back to Apache Kafka series again. In the previous video, we have looked into Apache Kafka broker cluster and what is the difference between a broker and a cluster. In this video, we are going to look into installing Apache Kafka. Well, firstly, before going into installing Apache Kafka, we have to look into installing Zookeeper first. So what is Zookeeper and how is it used by Apache Kafka? Zookeeper is a centralized or synchronized distributed platform for distributed configuration coordination. So if you have an application that is distributed application, or that application need a distributed configuration, so you can also leverage Zookeeper to be able to have your configuration being distributed. So also Apache Kafka is using Zookeeper for that purpose, for the distributed coordination of the application or of the application configuration. Let's look into this diagram. You can see here we have our producers connected to broker, and we also have our consumers consuming from the broker. So in this, you can see we also have a Zookeeper server. Here, both the broker and the consumers uses a Zookeeper. The broker uses Zookeeper to store topic metadata, and the consumers are using or uses Zookeeper to store message or consumer metadata and also message offset, so that if a consumer failed or if a consumer is down, the consumer will be able to easily come back and continue processing the message because it already has the information or message offset where it stopped at. We have talked about this before. So now let's go into installing Zookeeper. Firstly, before downloading the Zookeeper, you have to make sure that you already have Java installed. And you can also check this into maybe Google. We are not going to talk about how to install Java in your computer here. And also then you can use any of the link provided here to download Zookeeper. I have already downloaded Zookeeper, and now let's get our hands dirty by looking into what it is in the Zookeeper and how to install it. So I have downloaded Zookeeper, if you can see from my screen now, into a folder called Tools. And in this Tools, you can see I have Apache Zookeeper downloaded. This is the latest version currently. And also I have downloaded Kafka, but first let's extract Zookeeper. After extracting Zookeeper, then we are going to make a copy of the directory, or maybe move the directory to somewhere. So firstly, now extract Zookeeper, and then I'm given the name Apache Zookeeper, then Zookeeper, then I say extract. So now you can see it is being extract as Apache Kafka Zookeeper 3.7.0, but I would like to rename the folder, so I can just move it from Apache Kafka Zookeeper then to, let's say, just Zookeeper 1. So I'm now moving it to Zookeeper 1. And then after just renaming it to Zookeeper 1, if we want, we can also extract another Zookeeper to have our Zookeeper 2 again. And then when we extract it again, we rename it to Zookeeper 2. And then let's create another one so that we can have at least the minimum required Zookeepers. So now we are having Zookeeper 3. So we now have 3 folders. After renaming them to like Zookeeper 1, Zookeeper 2, Zookeeper 3, Zookeeper comes with a default or a sample configuration file, which if we say, for example, Zookeeper here, let's say we took Zookeeper 1 and we go into config and we list this config, you can see that here we have zoo sample .config or CFG file. So we are going to create a copy of this file also in Zookeeper 1. So let's just go into the folder for Zookeeper 1 and then go to the config. And in this config now, these are the files we have. So we are going to create another file and we'll copy just this file, the zoo file, to zoo just .cfg. So now we have this as our file, and now we are going to make some changes in this zoo file. So let's go into the zoo file, .cfg, and now if you can see from the configuration file that we have opened now, we have like for example the tick time. Tick time in Zookeeper perspective is like a counter, and this counter equal to, for example, by default 2000 milliseconds, and Zookeeper uses or use this tick time to also calculate some other properties like the init limit. We have also sync limit. Here the sync limit is 5, so you multiply 5 by 2000, the tick time here, then you are going to get like 5 seconds. And here we also have the data directory. Here the data directory is where Zookeeper write the data. We can change this directory. For example, we can change it to let's say we go back into our, we create let's say we go back into our tools directory here. In our tools directory we have Zookeeper. Let's say we create another directory and call it for example Zookeeper data, Zookeeper data, and then in this Zookeeper data let's say we also create 3 directories. These directories will be used for storing the Zookeeper 1, so ZK for example -1 data, and here, and then we also have the tools data, and then for the Zookeepers, and then there's 3 data. And now we can copy this pet and then set the configuration. For example, let's say we even see it into we get into ZK1, and then we can copy the pet and then go and change the configuration in our Zookeeper config here. So in the Zookeeper config, we can now change the data directory to, let's say, the Zookeeper 1 pet. So this is our data directory now. And also we have the client port. For example, the Kafka is going to use this port to connect to the Zookeeper client. Our configuration for now is enough. We have given the data directory, and then let's just get the Zookeeper started. So now I'm saving the configuration, and now I'm saying okay, let me get out the Zookeeper one, or I can stay there, and then just said let's see, I can say Zookeeper 1, then we have the bin directory, and in the bin directory, so in the bin directory we are going to call for Zookeeper server, and then the script, and then we can just set start. And here when we start, we can see that for example Zookeeper started, and so you can see the log printed here, it says Zookeeper started. If we can also use the same script to check for the status of Zookeeper, and you can see it is now standalone, means it's just a single node. There are no other nodes that this Zookeeper is connected with. So in the next video, we are going to look into how to configure more than one node instead of this standalone node, so that we can see them connected, and maybe they will also create a leader and followers. So until then, I hope this will also benefit someone out there.